You guys, do you know who I have on my channel today? It's the person that everybody thinks is me and gets us confused, but it's not. We're two different people. I have Andrea Schulman on the channel today. I'm the rainbows, she's the rubber ducks, and we have teamed up to talk to you guys about 5 things that wildly successful manifestors don't do. These are things that manifestors figure out as they level up. Not only do we have 5 things here in my video on my channel, we have 5 more on hers. That's really 10 things then. So we're going to jump into it here in just a moment. But first, I really want you guys to know Andrea is someone that has been around in the manifesting community for a while. She's got some great content. I've watched her videos secretly for years. So when we decided to do this collaboration, I was like, yeah, I've seen your videos a few 100 times. She really knows her stuff. So make sure that you check out her channel if you don't already know who she is. But honestly, I'm guessing most of you already do know who she is because she's pretty amazing and she's been out there for a while. So let's jump into it. 10 things. Actually, I'm sorry. It's only 5 on my channel, 10 total. 5 things that wildly successful manifestors don't do. And by the way, check out our Instagrams. I will link them down below. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Andrea. She's amazing. How are you?
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for having me today.
We have 5 things that wildly successful manifestors just don't do. And we had talked about 5 on her channel, 5 on mine, and we're going to go through this one. And then make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because Andrea has a bonus action plan of something that can really help you to implement these ideas.
Absolutely.
So the first thing that we're going to cover is manifestors, wildly successful manifestors, I guess, stop trying to convince other people that manifesting works.
Right.
Do you have, I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. So like when you first learn about the law of attraction, or not even when you first learn, but a lot of times you learn about it, and you're so excited and you want to share it with everybody. And a lot of your friends are like, that's stupid.
Oh, they're all like, that's stupid. Like all of them.
You're crazy. And especially when you're, at least for me, when I was new in it, I found that most of my friends thought I was nuts. And I would get, kind of go a little crazy trying to convince them that the law of attraction was real or that manifesting is real. And then I swung in the other direction where I didn't want to tell them at all because I didn't want to get, I didn't want the rejection, any of that stuff. But something that I've learned over time is that, you don't need to convince people that manifesting works. You don't need to do that. I think it's helpful. Like if you feel called to share it, you go ahead and share it, but then just let it go. And there's a teacher, Amy, I don't know. Do you follow Bashar at all?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, my entire foundation of manifesting is based on Bashar's principles.
Okay, good. Me too. So that explains why we like each other. But yeah, so Bashar's got, I don't know if you've heard him talk about this, but he talks about like giving a gift. So if you've got like advice, like manifesting advice, or you want to share the law of attraction with somebody, think of it as a gift. Like you're giving that person information. And like with any present, whatever they do with that gift is up to them. It's not, my job to make them open the gift. It's not my job to make them wear the sweater. It's their gift. They do whatever they want with it. And after listening to that, I really started practicing that with my own friends. And I noticed that, if something came up in conversation and I wanted to talk about the law of attraction or I wanted to talk about manifesting, I would give them that information and then let them do whatever they want with it. And instead of them being, talk to me like I'm crazy or look at me like I'm nuts or argue with me, they would just kind of say, and they'd go on about their business. And surprisingly, a lot of them later in conversation would come back and say, oh, I remember that thing that you told me. And oh my God, it worked out. And that was so cool. But it's like you had to give it to them and let them process it on their own. And whether or not they take it is on them. So that's a little skill that I've picked up over time, thanks to Bashar. That's really helped me get over this idea of having to convince people about manifesting and the law of attraction.
Yeah, and you also have that video with the rubber ducks and the drums. Like you put information out there, like here's how you can do it yourself,
Right.
I'll link it down below.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's a great video, by the way. And then I have the rainbow version. Mine's rainbows versus rubber ducks. It's great.
I love the rainbows.
Every time I see a rubber duck, I'm like, Andrea. So that was number one. What's our number two?
Okay, so our number two for things that wildly successful manifestors don't do, they don't worry about what others think about them or their manifesting.
Yeah, this is a big one. So I've always had this, I have a little motto for this one. And I've had it since I was a kid. It's, what is it? When someone tells me I can't do something or I shouldn't do something, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it twice and I'm going to take pictures. Like you've heard that before somewhere. Like that's my motto. So my story is I was in this contest, which I ended up winning, and I've talked about it relentlessly in my videos, but you may not have heard this piece. There was a 90-day aspect to the contest where I had to post on this online forum every day within the contest community what I was doing to for my goal. My goal was to reduce my spending and get out of credit card debt. Mm-hmm. So this one day I had this inspired idea, and that was I had overspent on my credit cards and carried interest. And I was like, I'm going to pay off one of my credit cards, and then I'm going to charge everything on my credit cards and then start paying it off every month. I want to get in the habit of that. So I posted this idea. This lady came at me in the comments. I don't even know who she was. This is a horrible idea. You are setting yourself for massive disaster. You're going to like end up in more debt. Please don't do this. But to me, I just knew like this was an inspired idea. It made sense to me. So I decided not to worry about her opinion. And I can safely say to her, wherever she may be out in the world, it has been 8 solid years. And I have paid off my credit cards every single month for 8 years. And I've carried no debt. So thank you for your 2 cents. But I decided to work with what made sense to me. So don't do something that like put yourself in jeopardy, but it was definitely like, I'm not going to worry about someone else's opinion about my life. It's my life.
Yeah. And that opinion's nonsense anyway. I do that every month and I'm out of credit card debt too. So that thing works.
Yeah, it totally works. It was just funny how she was like, this is a setup for disaster. And I was like, is it?
Yeah, it sounds like your own stuff you're working through there, lady, but okay. Oh my goodness.
Oh, so that was number 2. Our number 3 is, this is a good one. This is a good one. And this actually feeds into some of the ones we talked about on your channel. Mm-hmm. Stop judging yourself. You know, wildly successful manifestors figure that out at some point. It's got to stop judging yourself and start accepting themselves as they are.
It's critical because you have a vision for yourself of where you want to go and who you want to be. And that's going to require you to become somebody different than who you are now. But you have to kind of embrace that that's where you're going. You have to accept it, that some people might not like it or might think that it's weird. You want to give yourself freedom to kind of move in that direction. So I've got a personal story on kind of releasing judgment that's really worked well for me in fitness. So I always had kind of the goal that I wanted to be in really good physical condition. And I realized when I was going to the gym early on that I was really holding back. Like I'm afraid of what people are going to think if they see me doing this weird exercise over here, or if they see me wearing these clothes over here. I don't want to look like that kind of person. I don't want to give off that kind of energy. And I'd really hold back and wasn't really able to manifest the kind of physical condition that I really wanted to. It wasn't until I started kind of pulling that back and just, you know what, hey, I'm going to look ridiculous, be ridiculous, do whatever I feel like doing. If I feel like doing this crazy exercise over here that has everyone rolling their eyes, that's fine. It wasn't until I started doing that I really started seeing results in the gym. And you can probably relate to this in the kind of work that we do, Amy, that, I mean, if you judge yourself, you're not putting up videos, you're not saying anything interesting because you're too busy being in your head that you can't really be that person you want to be.
Yeah, it's very derailing. It derails so many things, your focus, your action that you need to take to get through your day. It's, yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest shifts I made was to stop judging myself and start accepting myself. And it took time. It was not easy at first, but really giving yourself that permission to do that is really vital. And I love that. And by the way, you look amazing. You are really amazing.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm in the gym a lot, but
it worked. It paid off.
Thank you very much. All right. So that's the third one. For the fourth one here, we've got wildly successful manifestors don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a good story for this. I've actually mentioned this in another video of mine where I'll go into much more detail of it. It's an older one. I'll link it below. It's where I got backstage at the Staples Center for a concert in LA years ago. And I'm not a morning person. I was at the hotel in LA and I woke up probably because of jet lag and flying and all that at like 6 in the morning or something. It was really early. And I'm laying in bed and it was like, go to Starbucks. This popped into my head. And I was like, what? And I love Starbucks. I was like, I'm not going to Starbucks right now. There's no way I'm getting up and going to Starbucks. It's like, go to Starbucks. I was like, ugh. Now I had no way to get back. I really was actively manifesting to get backstage. And I had no way to do this. So I schlepp out of bed. I look a mess and I shuffle down to the Starbucks. And I go in and I immediately get in the commuter line. So all these people are going to work. It was like a normal weekday. I had gotten there a few days early. And I get behind this guy who has a paper plate with tons of drink orders on it. And he starts listing them off. And I'm like, oh my God, I got behind the 27 dresses guy. Like, you know, have you seen that? It's like 27 drinks. It was a lot. And I'm like, why did the universe have me get out of bed to come stand behind this guy in this morning? So anyway, I finally get to order. I have to go sit down and now I have to wait for them to make all of his drinks. So I'm sitting there and one by one, I watch his drinks appear on the counter. And I'm like looking at him and looking at the drinks. And I'm like, this guy only has 2 arms. Like, how's he going to carry all these drinks? So I just turned to him and say, do you need help carrying those somewhere? And he looked really stunned that I spoke to him or offered help. I don't know how people are in LA, but I guess I don't know.
You don't do that.
I guess you don't do that over there. I don't know. From a place where you do. So he didn't need help. He said, thank you. He had someone coming to help him. Well, guess what? Turns out he worked at the Staples Center. And we exchanged phone numbers. And then it was like, I was there like 3 days early. And then like the day of the concert, he's like, I just really appreciate how nice you were. Is there anything I can do for you? And I was like, I would like to get backstage. He gave me an all access pass, took me down there, left me there, and it was amazing.
That's amazing. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
So you can't hold back and you can't like question these things. When it says it's time to act, like go.
It's time to schlep out of bed and go to Starbucks. When you don't want to, just go.
Just go. Go. Don't wait. That's good. Very good.
Wow.
I love that story.
Yeah, that's a good one. So that was our fourth one. And so our fifth and final one for this video is stop limiting your dreams and allow yourself to ask for what you really want instead of settling for what you think you can get. Andrea, what do you got to say about that?
Oh my gosh. I keep learning this one as time goes on. It's so common for people to just settle for what they think they can get or what's just out of reach. And I've been working on this one a lot recently. I've got a friend who's really inspired this one in me. I met her. She's from Colombia. She's an immigrant. And she moved to this country when she was, I want to say 20 years old, and she was pregnant. She had like no money. It was just like this awful story, right? But she's evolved into one of these people that she just goes for it. No matter how outlandish it is, she goes for it. And I've watched her do this where she just makes these crazy dreams and they come true. And it's really helped me start to understand this more and more in my own life that, you know, you don't want to settle. You know, really go for it. It's amazing the kind of stuff that you can accomplish when you just set those dreams on fire. So like recently, she just purchased a farm. It's like this crazy thing, a farm, it's a petting zoo. She's doing weddings. It's like all this crazy stuff because she set her sights high enough. And most people wouldn't set their sights like that. They say, you know what, let me just see if I can make an extra $10,000 this year. Yeah. Or maybe just put a couple goats in the backyard, you know. But no, she got the whole zoo, you can do this stuff if you really set for it. And really successful manifestors, they don't settle. They understand that anything's possible. They understand that they can have anything that they want. So, you know, we all need to really be encouraging ourselves to not limit our dreams, really reach for the stars for what we actually want.
Absolutely. And that one a lot of people, I think they feel like they need to believe it can happen in advance, or they need to have some sort of evidence it can happen, or they need to feel some sort of reassurance to even start that process.
Yeah.
Just start it, which is interesting because that kind of leads into your bonus action plan you have.
Yeah. So I've got an idea here for you, and it's called Stop by Starting. So we gave you guys a list of 5 things that you don't want to do or you want to stop doing. And sometimes it's hard to stop doing things.
Yeah.
Okay. And
For real.
don't do that. I'm just going to do it more. That tends to be the way that we react to things, is if we tell ourselves not to do it, we just keep doing it more. But through the law of attraction, as you know, and I'm sure all of your listeners know at this point, the law of attraction builds on momentum. So the more we tell ourselves not to do something, the more we end up doing it. So we want to use momentum in our favor. So what this one is it is stop by starting. So instead of telling yourself to stop doing this thing on the list over here, just tell yourself to start doing the opposite, and try to push the gas on that one as much as you can. So for instance, our first one here was to stop trying to convince others that manifesting works. And so we talked a little bit about how maybe instead you can just share it and let them have it and back on out of the conversation. So try and focus on doing that for a while. And every time you see yourself doing that, okay, good. I just gave it to him and walked away. I'm just going to give it to him and walk away. And that will start to build momentum. And so through the law of attraction, if you just start doing the opposite of anything, you're going to start building momentum on the positive behavior while simultaneously dwindling the momentum on the negative behavior. So that's something that I highly recommend if you want to stop doing anything, especially things on this list, is to just start doing the opposite.
Yeah. And I have something I want to add to that just came to mind. Years and years ago, I was with my nephews at a swimming pool, and the whole rule, like, don't run around a swimming pool deck.
Yeah.
So they were running because they were little boys. That's what they do. So I yell out across the deck, like, don't run, stop running. I'm like, stop running. And then they slowly started jogging. They were like still running, but just slower. So I was like, you know what? I should know what I'm doing here, because you just reframe it. So I then yelled out, please walk. And they immediately started walking. So it's the same idea. You can also use this to
modify your children's behavior.
Exactly. Maybe, yes.
It's another great manifesting trick, by the way. I totally agree. I've done that one before. Mine was jumping on the couch. Kids, if you jump on the couch, don't jump on the please sit on the couch.
Oh, I love that one. I love it. Yeah, it works because they hear it really fast, and they immediately like adapt to it. So I said, don't run. They just kept running, but slower.
Yeah. I'm kind of listening to you. What do you have to do to keep her off my back?
Well, this has been fantastic. Hopefully all this information will really help people, because, in manifesting, it's not just what you need to start doing. You have to like sort of clear some space and stop doing or don't do things as well. And that's kind of important.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
It's more than half the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's like decluttering before you like redecorate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you haven't already been to Andrea's channel, we do have 5 more things that wildly successful manifestors don't do over there. Mm-hmm. So feel free to jump over there. That will be linked below. And Andrea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. All right, everybody. Until next time, happy manifesting.
Bye.